You're watching the Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com.
I'm already into the 420, damn it!
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is how much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiba grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
And this is where my dog would be howling behind me.
Kept cutting out for me.
Did it really?
Yeah, I couldn't even sing along.
Oh, man. Well, welcome. This is the 420 Radio Show. Hi, Paul. Nice to see you. We'll get to you in a second. We are here today chatting about... Oh, everybody left? No, he left. We're here today to talk with Paul Martin, Scallywag Seeds. And there he is again. Where's my mouse? There he is. Hello, Paul. How are you? You have to turn your mic up a little bit, please. Actually, I can probably do it over here.
Is that better?
No. Do you have a headset that you can put on?
Yeah.
Because then we won't hear us. You can't hear anything, Dale? Boom, boom, doom, 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 doom. This is a musical interlude. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I hear you guys well.
There you go. That's better.
Better?
Yep.
Much better.
Good.
And then if I need to turn you up, I can do that over here. So
sounds good.
All right. So welcome, Paul. As I said, we're here tonight to have a conversation with Paul Martin from Scallywag Seed Company. And I don't even know where you're located. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you guys?
We are in Manitoba, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Ooh, right in the center.
Yeah, right in the center, Prairie Boys.
So you're up high like I am.
Where are you?
I'm in Terrace Bay, which is at the top of Lake Superior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's probably still not as far north as you.
Really? Yeah. I'm learning all about this fifth parallel thing.
Yeah, I think you're quite a bit farther north than we are.
I had to get a greenhouse and everything. So over the night we're going to be chatting with Paul. We're going to do our regular thing here. I don't know if Darcy's got anything lined up for grow stuff, but I have lots of questions.
He does.
He does. Good. And I'm going to sit here while we're chatting with Paul. I'm going to sit here and put some sprouts in some pucks.
Oh, wow. I hate.
Yeah.
You're using peat pucks?
Yeah, I am. Peat pucks. Yep. I got 10 all swollen behind me.
I was just reading an interesting thing about peat pucks the other day.
Tell us.
The peat is not a renewable resource. And they're actually running out of peat.
Yeah, for the bogs.
What's happening is the plugs now are getting harder to get, but the ones you can get are really knocked off cheap. And the problem is it's really short fibers, so it doesn't retain any moisture.
They seem to be holding the moisture pretty well, these little guys. I got them at Home Hardware. It wasn't the dollar store stuff.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that eventually you're not even going to see peat pucks anymore.
Well, you know what?
This is a hard time to get it for soil mixes.
I bought a bag of ProMix herb and vegetable.
Yep.
And so when if that happens, that's I'll just use soil. I mean, it's just what I had. I'm gathering things as we go, kind of thing,
No, I mean the Pro Mix is fine, especially for outdoors, because it's so forgiving.
Yep, and so I wanted to try the actual. I mean, it's all about the perlite, I know, but I wanted to try this vegetable and herb mixture because I'm growing vegetables and herbs, so why?
It's also organic.
Is it? Is that different than the big white basic stuff?
The big white basic stuff is basically just an inert grow medium that you have to apply
Other stuff
nutrients to. The general purpose for herbs and tomatoes, because they've got two. They've got one that's for herbs and tomatoes, which is the organic line, and then they've got another general purpose, and it's an actual soil mix. So there's a little bit of everything in there, including nutrients.
This one is the actual, it says right on it, because I was looking for it specifically, herb and vegetable. And the reason I was looking for it was because they ran out of the regular stuff and they only had that last year.
Yep.
And I asked the guy flat out, is it good for weed? He said yes. I like going, I'm getting to know the new owner. So, I mean, and he drops stuff off here all the time. So it's nice to be able to have, there's two hardware stores in the area that I can go in and have an open conversation about what I'm doing. And they help me, which is what you need, right? They're real hardware stores, not like, Walmart or what's the other one?
Walmart people will help you.
Yeah, sure.
They can tell you roughly where the exits are.
Yep, and they jump on you as soon as you walk in the door like rats. It's like, there's a person. Hi, can I help you? Very much. Hello. So, anyways.
Welcome back, Darcy.
Yeah, hi, Darcy.
Holy God, no, my computer crashed. So
you on the computer this time, buddy?
I was till it just crashed, so now I'm back on my fucking phone.
Cool. So
probably got a dead battery.
No, my phone's at 80%. So
we've only been doing this for this group of us for almost 10 years, Paul. So you'd think we'd have it figured out by now.
Okay. It can be much. It can be years and years. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Yep. So I heard some clicking.
That might be me clicking.
Was it? So tell us a little bit about yourself and your brand, and then we'll go from there, Paul.
Sure. I always start it always kind of blows me away that anyone wants to hear anything about me.
Okay, well, hold off 1 second. I'm going to get you to log off and log back in because you're clicking when you talk.
1 sec.
We should have some music to play. But we're not allowed. We're not allowed to use music because Ed Nugent. Do you remember that?
I'm doing music.
Oh, okay. Do you remember that, though, Marcel?
Yes, only because I'm old.
Is that better?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Paul. So go ahead and tell us what you were going to tell us.
And just interrupt again if it clicks. Let me know right away. So yeah, I always say I find it hard that people want to hear anything about me or hear me talk, but I'll give you the short story. So I'm a Canadian, I guess, cannabis advocate and enthusiast. I've been doing this for just shy of, I don't know, probably about 17, 18 years. We started back, we've had multiple brands kind of that I've been a part of, been lucky enough to be a part of. Probably going far back as 2010 was the very first venture, and that would have been Golden Tree Seeds. Was my very first endeavor in, I guess, making seeds. Prior to that, I had been a commercial grower for quite some time, and also kind of started branching off into organic growing. But it was around 2010, after about 2 years of making seeds at home, that we decided to put a brand together, or I decided to put a brand together. And so that was when we created Golden Tree Seeds. And so that was about 2010. And times were much different then. There was obviously
just a little.
Yeah, like we're so saturated now with seeds and people selling clones, but seeds especially. You go on Instagram or Facebook, there's so many seed sellers, which is good. It's got a purpose.
The knockoffs aren't so good because you don't really know what you're getting.
Well, exactly. But I mean, at the end of the day, even 10 years ago, there was lots of people just making stuff just for their own reasons or just stuff they want to put together. And we're sharing it with a lot of people. And so sometimes those projects were good and sometimes they were bad.
The first
But
seeds I got 5 BC bud seeds for $50. That was 40 years ago, maybe.
oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were 2010. So prior to that, I mean, going back a long time, I was collecting seeds through, various ways. Emery's direct catalog and sharing seeds online with people. And one of the first places we got online was one of the first forums was Skunk Magazine. They had a Skunk Mag forum, which was in its heyday was just phenomenal. There was the Rev, obviously, who went on to do True Living Organics and is kind of our Yoda, our mentor for living organics. There was people like Snow High, Seeds of Compassion, just a really, really good group of people there.
These are the companies that when you open up those actual magazines that are in the bathroom,
yeah,
all those ads are the companies he's talking about.
Yeah, and like these guys,
and when Marco Renda started Treating Yourself, that first one that you walked in and it was a wall of breeders with seeds for you.
For sure.
Did you go to any of the Treating Yourself?
Oh, like I said, I've been committed to a garden and a professional job prior to me losing my professional job. Yeah. So I rarely could travel and I rarely don't just because I went on and was formerly a librarian too for cannabis.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Cool. That's where it all started, was generally collecting rare cannabis varieties and then starting to do some seed making with them. And some seed hunts from my own seed collection that I'd collected over the years. Because like I said, I was obsessed and collected. I mean, I was buying seeds all the time. And so we'll get there eventually, but I had the raid where I kind of lost everything. But yeah, it was Skunk Magazine Forum, Skunk Mag Forum. It was just the best place to be. A lot of magic happened there. There was just a really, really solid group of people that obviously went on to do some pretty awesome stuff. But in that same sense, there was a bunch of guys like myself that were just, unknown guys that just were so lucky and happy to be a part of this amazing kind of place where there was, like I said, such infamous growers and breeders that today have gone on to do great things and at the time had also been doing great things. And today there's also some guys that passed away that were elders and they had shared a lot of their genetics with us. And that's where a lot of my stuff came from, was from that kind of forum. So from that forum, we also had IC Mag, which is probably a little well known. Overgrow was well known, but I was never really a part of Overgrow. I kind of didn't really hit the forum scene until about 2011. But we were predominantly IC Mag and Skunk Mag forum, and that's where we acquired a lot of our earlier genetics and a lot of our stuff. So, and so from that point on, I was able to kind of connect with Rev and a lot of those good guys, Mikey, and there was just so many guys, TACB, just the list goes on and on and on. Yeah, we were able to trade soil recipes and just trade genetics. And yeah, those were those early days where we just had a real magical setting where, everything was still very, very scary and you had to be very, very careful. We were sending everything through the mail.
Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
They were the days. Like, those are the days. Those were the outlaw days, and they were so special.
You'll never see those days again. You'll never see those events again, unfortunately.
They're gone.
They try. Well, you know what? The indigenous market is going to capture some of those events. The Indigenous Cannabis Cup here in Ontario is, I believe, in July, and that's the one that everybody seems excited about this year.
Right on. Yeah. Right on. But
well,
yeah, so
you got the one down out east there as well.
Yes, of course. Yes. But yeah, so we were on those forums, and like I said, it just progressed into a brand. We eventually, after about 2 years of kind of playing with stuff and growing it out, and we were happy with some stuff, and we were trading, and people were happy with the trades, and so we started Golden Tree Seeds. And we had a couple lines that I was quite happy with. We had a Princess Purple line, an LV420.
You're clicking again. Sorry.
I wonder why.
It's probably just the internet.
You want me to go back?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sorry, everybody.
No problem. Hi. Did everybody fall asleep, Marcel?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting there listening along, vegetating. Wondering if I'm going to get an ice cap soon because I'm getting kind of dry, cotton mouthy.
Somebody went to Timmy's, huh?
I hope so. I still hear them though. Hey, we could do some news.
Well, I was just going to say, did you find any news?
Jerry Springer died.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
He was the most controversial talk show host of his era, is what they're calling him.
Nah.
That's what TMZ said.
Oh, of course they would. I mean, you can call it. I mean, it started out really good, but then it just got ridiculous.
Wasn't Maury Povich around before him? And Phil Donahue. So. I mean, Phil Donahue was doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? So
Maury. Yeah. There he is.
Back. Okay, let's switch him down here. There we go. How's that?
Not bad. Is that better?
Yeah. We'll let you know when it changes.
Okay. So sorry, I'll just jump back in. So just in case it happens. But yeah, so we ended up, like I said, started our brand, had a couple of lines we were really happy with. And at that same time, we were building up our library as a librarian for some pretty awesome rare stuff. And yeah, the passion just continued. And then I met a good friend through IC Mag who happened to be local. And then we went on to start Green Beaver Genetics, which is probably a little bit more known if you were to ever follow anything that we did. That was our a joint venture with a guy called Haze Oil. And he was a phenomenal librarian himself, and friends connected into the West Coast a bit more than I was. And so we had some access to some cuts from the West Coast as well, and some connections up there. And so the library just continued to grow. The seed work continued to grow and blossom. And he and I put out some stuff we were really, really happy with. We were on IC Mag predominantly, and there's some forums there if you want to go back. You can follow us under the Golden Tree Seed still, but there's a bunch of stuff on that kind of site. If you go under the header Golden Tree Seeds, you can find my page, and you can find a lot of the stuff that we did with Green Beaver Genetics. And so yeah, that went on for a few years, and then we parted ways. Just mutual happiness. Just both want to do some different things, and some things were changing geographically for some other people that they couldn't be around anymore. And so we just went our own ways, and we divvied up everything, and made sure everyone was happy and holding everything that they wanted to hold. And then he went on to do his stuff. I think he ended up going out of country, and then I was just sitting around bored, and I needed to continue to have some sort of outlet for my artistic need to make seeds and make varieties that I love. And so then I finally started. Actually, before I started Scallywag, I got kind of picked up by a really good guy who was kind of an investor and wanted to be a partner in the Canadian legal seed. And so I worked with him under Canada Craft Producers Inc. for about 2.5 years. And we were, like I said, the whole goal was to be legal. We had good investment. Everything was looking good. Facility was built. But just, I think some things happened on maybe his end that were uncontrollable, and we just had to again go our own ways.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. And I mean, like, there's no hard feeling. It's a real tough industry to get into, and I don't blame anybody that if you're having trouble with clearances and stuff like that after all the money and time you've committed. Sometimes it's just not in the cards, and you got to move on. And so yeah, just for whatever reason. We went our own ways and maintained a friendship, obviously, but again, maintained a library, which was very crucial for everyone, just to continue sharing these really awesome genetics with each other and making sure that no one had ownership of them and that everyone got to still experience them. And so I was still able to maintain my entire catalog. And then it was at that point, like I said, it had been about 10 years of partnerships, and I just was time to go on my own again. And I had been doing lots of work in this entire time with seeds and hunting phenotypes and doing breeding. And
how many strains do you have?
Well, I make a lot. So I base myself off of I have always been it's always been about making stuff that I wanna either run, look at, or have a future idea of. So everything I've ever done has been combinations of stuff I want to do. I never follow market or what people like. It's always been stuff that I truly want to either combine together and then go through and hunt either for just phenotypes, just to like share and enjoy, which is like pheno hunting is
I think that's the best way, because I mean, if you're not enjoying the strain that you're trying to work with, what's the
exactly. And that's the thing. It's like if you make seeds, like I mean, I know I have friends who make seeds. I have lots of friends that do this for a living, and you know, a lot of them have to make stuff that they just don't care about. And I feel there's been times where maybe I've had some stuff that I like a hype cut that maybe didn't have longevity in my library or in my life, but there was a time where I enjoyed it enough to put it into a line with something. So that's how it always was always making something with the future idea of I want to go through it later on. And so when you ask me how many seed lines I have, well, lines that I've actually have done a little bit of like either filial breeding or back crossing on or some actual type of work, there's probably maybe 5. But for the most part, a lot of my pretty much all the stuff that I've done in the past on my own has just been putting stuff together that I want to look at later on or have started to go through and find stuff I like to share. But really, at the end of the day, there's probably only about maybe about 5 lines that I've actually have done that I'm happy with. And then we had a couple with Green Beaver Genetics as well that I can't take claim of because, you know, he was predominantly the guy who did all the work for that and had the idea of what he wanted to do.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. And, you know, but like I said, then we put out some stuff together. Yep. But yeah, I mean, I have some blueberry stuff I'm really proud of. Like I'm a blueberry. I just love blueberries.
You know what? I just found some blueberry seeds from that I've had for years and years and years that I've actually cracked, and they've just opened up. So I'm actually excited about that. And some blue cheese. I found some blue cheese.
Oh, that blue cheese. We were just talking about that the other day. We were trying to find our old. There was an old phone that.
There goes Mike again, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, okay, hold on.
All right, Marcel, you're up.
What?
Huh? Huh?
What? I'm up again? All right, next one up on this is this just happened just this week in Singapore.
Yes.
Because we know Singapore is an awesome place for cannabis.
That is fucking disgusting.
Well, did they ever put his name?
No.
Yeah, Tangaraju Supia, 46, was sentenced to death in 2018 for bedding trafficking of 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds of cannabis. That's when he got caught.
Okay, so he was. This just happened. He was just put.
Yeah, he died this week. Under Singapore laws, trafficking more than 500 grams of cannabis may result in the death penalty.
Wow. They put him to death?
Yes.
Yeah, he was hanged Wednesday morning, and his family was given the death certificate.
What the fuck?
Was it televised or made public or anything? Does it say?
No, but although Tangaraju was not caught with the cannabis, prosecutors said phone numbers traced him as the person responsible for coordinating the delivery of the drugs. Tangaraju had maintained that he was not the one communicating with the others connected to the case.
Wow. There's been other countries that have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think was it India?
No, it's Indonesia, Philippines,
Thailand.
Well, just hang on. Let's ask Google.
I don't have Alexa set up yet. I should bring her in here and set her up. We could have just moved on from that conversation already. I mean, she'll hear me, but you won't hear her. Dead air. Dead air.
Sorry,
dead air.
I'm typing.
Dale.
Just one sec. I got a kid coming in here.
Okay, that's okay. Daddy duty. Dale's a mom. What do you call him?
Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom. That's the one. Yeah. Okay, we'll. Oh, no, we're on an angle now.
Sorry about that, guys.
No problem at all, dude. I mean, geez, we've had way worse. Okay.
So I've moved. I moved closer to my router and should be okay. But if it happens again, let me know.
Alrighty.
And I apologize to everyone. Sorry.
So we were just when you leave, we go to the news, and we were just talking about what was it, Singapore, Marcel?
Yeah. So Singapore, Malaysia, they both have
the death penalty.
The death penalty. So does China. But it's classified as part of their state secrets, but they have it as well.
You heard about what happened this week, did you not, Paul?
No, I haven't. I've been so busy.
Somebody in where was it again, Marcel?
Singapore.
In Singapore was put to death for, was it 50 grams or over 500 grams?
Pardon me? Anything over 500 grams is considered trafficking, and the sentence can be death. He got caught with 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, and he got sentenced to death, and they hung him on Wednesday.
That's horrible.
It is.
For cannabis, I mean, I know that some of those places are, like I said, there's death sentence for any type of drug, but yeah.
Well, the U.S. has been very, very vocal the last month or so about clemency and different states giving clemency, and they've just released the last cannabis prisoner or something, or I don't know,
for possession.
For possession. Okay.
Well, I mean, for us in Canada, I mean, myself, like I lost a professional job over, being arrested for production.
Did you?
So, yeah, I mean, so it's nothing. I mean, like I said, there's nothing near a death experience, but here in Canada, I mean, to this day, we're 6 years in legalization, 5, and I mean, like I just entered the workforce because I was so bored. I needed something to do after my professional job ended. And I couldn't find a job because of a record.
A lot of the people that we'll say the legacy people that I know, legacy farms and that, the long and short is if they wanted to stay in the business, they had to go legal to do it. And it's unfortunate. There are some exceptions to the rule, obviously. But some people have really continued doing their thing, and some people have folded up and gone the legal way, but the majority of people have left, and they may not have stopped. They may still be doing it, but it's private.
Well, I mean, like we know people that, for better part of 30 years made a very comfortable living doing what they did, and and like we've come to this crossroads where you're right, you either had to figure something out because that type of lifestyle was coming to an end, so
yes. Yep. I worked at Gunjanese just for a while in Hamilton, and we were doing events, and Paula had a dispensary as well that was just medical. We got raided, shut down, and it was at the height of when I walked into the cafe for the first time. I looked outside on the street, and there were 20 dispensaries right in front of me. Yeah. You decide what you want, who's got the best stuff. You go in, and by the end of that, only a year later, none.
That's crazy.
And we were even closed.
And now it's like the legal world. It's they're everywhere. I mean,
Hamilton is becoming the mecca that it was again with events. They won't sit down. They'll just keep going, right? So that's nice to see. Toronto as well. Yeah. Ontario, has a thing for events. So that's where they're happening. Right?
Yeah, even our legal community here, like they have found a way to promote, to get around Health Canada's very strict regulations. So it's been nice to see. They have like all sorts of bud tender events here where they kind of network and brand network and stuff like that. So, but I mean, it's kind of the same thing we all had to do back in the day with brokering and getting customers and figuring out your pathway there. Only now you're allowed to do it in, the open, which is nice.
So are you guys allowed to grow your 4 plants in Manitoba now?
No, we're like I said, Quebec just got beat, Quebec just won in the Supreme Court case, which is going to play and have weight in our decision here. But yeah, right now we're currently with Quebec, we're not allowed to grow 4 plants here. So, and with the government we have right now, like, I think it's going to change. They're waiting for a decision from the judge here in Manitoba, and a lot of it's been a long. So they had, like I said, you obviously been following. They had Tusaw and like some really big heavyweight lawyers representing Toba Grown here in the fight. And I mean, obviously those guys have argued this before and have had great success. So they argued to a Manitoba judge here, and she has held her decision for well over, I think, a year now. And a lot of it had to do with waiting for the decision in the Quebec Supreme Court. So I think now that ruling's come down with the current government we have, which is a conservative government here, who is very, very anti-pot, they are going to shut down and continue the ban here until we have a change of government, which won't be long. But I think it'll be a change in government here that will be the reasoning and that'll allow us to finally have a 4 plant grow here.
Marcel, have a peek at our chat there on Facebook. I just posted some. Speaking of Kurt, he just posted about this new review thing.
On our we have Facebook.
In our Facebook chat. Yep. Go ahead, Paul.
No, I was just saying, we have historically, I know there's a lot of provinces that share the same kind of environment we have, but we have a really anti-cannabis kind of place here and has been for so long. So it doesn't surprise me. So
unlike Ontario, we're open for business apparently.
Right. Yeah. Right. But so I think we have a government change, I think, within about 6 months. And so Conservatives are going to go to the polls, and I think they're going to more than likely get beat. So we're looking at an NDP government here, and there's been some lobbying going on, from what I understand already, from the legal, which, good for them, and some advocates here. We've really been putting it to. I'll just shout him out because he puts a lot of work in. Stephen Stairs, he's been really pressuring and getting together some.
Stephen.
Yeah, and some of the Liberals as well, to really hammer home how insane it is that we can't grow cannabis plants here or have consumption lounges.
We can't have consumption lounges here either. Although they're starting to pop up again in Toronto and Hamilton.
Sure. And when we the first year, 2-3 years of legalization, we were putting on legacy events still, and we were having a lot of these infusion dinner nights and dab nights and stuff like that. So there was a very vibrant legacy scene here up until probably about 3 years ago. But for those first 2.5 years, it was pretty good. And now legal's taken over. Like I said, we have these events going on over the city, which is really, really nice to see for the legal world here in Manitoba, because we're a small market, and these producers and everyone's kind of getting together and getting their networking kind of stuff out and building their brands that way, which is nice. You have to.
Yeah, and in this year, the Karma Cup is doing it legally.
Yeah, I asked.
Yeah, yep. You asked Sarah, did you?
Yeah, because we had obviously we have good friends that have won multiple years there, and we've contributed sponsorship, and obviously it's been the Mecca event, right?
Yep.
So I was just curious what she was going to do this year, so I just asked.
I have not heard anything other than this legal event is going on. They're in May. They're sending out to OCS so you can buy it, and they're looking for stores that want to carry it. Right. But what I have not heard anything about is whether or not she's going to chance doing a legacy event.
Well, whoever I spoke to, I don't know if it was Sarah, but whoever I spoke to that day, they had just inquired, are you guys doing illegal? Is it all legal? Is it legacy? And they just said it's a little bit of both. So whatever.
We'll see what happens. Yep.
But I mean, regardless, I think Sarah's built a following there, and the cup has a following. Oh, yeah. Regardless of what they do, they'll be okay.
I just saw the price actually of the kits through OCS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, $310, I think it was.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, it was what almost $800 for the for the legacy event. It's much bigger. I think you only get 3 strains.
Yeah.
Right in the kit, but
no one will be paying that kind of money for.
Well, I'm sitting here watching. I know Sarah, and I'm sitting here watching, and we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. You know, I hope that she continues and does the actual Karma Cup event.
Right.
I hope so. Will she be able to after doing a legal event? Will they allow it? You know what I mean?
That's true.
We're gonna find out, because if anybody's gonna push the buttons, it's going to be Sarah.
For sure, of course, and historically that's Sarah.
Who's drawing?
Sorry,
what?
Somebody's drawing.
I can draw when I want.
I can hear
heavy marker. So yeah, we put on some events here, a couple cups, and we were going to continue doing it, but we had to come to the conclusion that you either have a legacy cup or a legal cup. You can't have both. And that's just kind of the way it was.
You know what? It would be nice if you could, because it's all about the weed. It's all about the strain. It's not about the fucking guy who grew it.
Exactly. And we thought, we literally tried to plan how we could do it, and there's just no feasible way.
The only way that you could do a legal event that consists of both legal and legacy is to purchase the legal stuff yourself but then you'd be breaking the law reselling and
exactly. There's all sorts of odd things and rules and
this is only in Ontario. OCS is only Ontario. I don't know what's going to happen outside of Ontario if she's made arrangements in different provinces, if it's just Ontario, because the actual
she's only got seven entries.
Okay, because people come in from all over the world to go to the Karma Cup in September.
And you used to get your judges kit shipped kind of all over the world, at least all over Canada, right?
Yep.
So I just I'm sure she'll be okay. I'm sure it will work out.
I hope so. I hope she'll find a way to do it. And like I said, if anybody can pull it off, it'll be Sarah.
Last year too, Headwater won, and they're legal now. So, right, they took a cup. So, and Fat Farmer too, he's legal or just about to go legal. So, yeah, same guys kind of entering the cups, just different kind of little bit more trouble from Health Canada and a little bit more policies to follow. But
and in the legal market now, you've got some of those legacy people still producing in the legal market. They just changed their name, gave their recipe to a legal entity, and continued on. Thompson Caribou being one of them.
Oh, there's so many. All our friends that I literally had sat at a legal cup 6-7 years ago, they're all in the game now. They're all legal. So
yeah, I think it's great, because those guys, they are the true legacy scientists of all of this, and they figured out a way to make a product that got very recognizable very quickly, and the only thing that killed it was the legal market.
Yeah, and really they had to either go legal or had to find something else.
But you can still get those products. It's just a matter, you got to find out who bought the rights to them, I guess.
For sure. Yeah, I remember. There's been some really big announcements in the last 3 years of people that were very well known and followed in our community that have now made the jump. So, and it's such a different place to work in, and it's such a learning curve with all the restrictions and all the stuff you have to follow with your SOPs, and it's truly a different world.
Well, I wish Len was here, because Len is the CEO of Toronto Cannabis, so I'm sure he'd like to join in this conversation, but he's busy watching a hockey game.
Like Len, not Len from former Thompson, no?
No, Lennie Welcher? Is that how you pronounce it? Welcher.
Right on.
He might pop in. You may say hello.
Right on.
He's going to try and pop in during intermission, so.
I want to ask you, your blueberries, what blueberry seeds did you have that you're popping?
You know what? I have no idea. That I had a bunch of blueberry,
Right.
And they were there was a lot of seeds in it.
Right on.
And I sent a bunch up here actually to my buddy, and he grew them, and they came out really nice. So I thought I would try it and see what happens.
Older seeds?
Yeah, without the Miracle Grow.
Yeah, leave that alone, eh?
Well, he didn't know any better, and most people, I'm going to grow some weed. Let's go get some Miracle Grow.
Yeah.
No, don't do it.
And then sometimes you're stuck in these small places. Like I know some towns we
have one hardware store in this town.
Exactly. Like you're stuck with it.
And I bet they sell Miracle Grow.
Yes, they do, but they also thank God sell Promix.
Right, but almost everybody sells Miracle Grow because people recognize the name now.
Yeah, well, you know what? Almost everybody used to used to sell raw, but that ain't going to be the case for very much longer.
Yeah.
So sorry, I had to get in there and say.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone who was smoking raws 5 years ago prior to this, I mean,
never liked raw. No, give me a Gizé.
Yeah, Elements.
Love. I don't even mind Canadian lumber. But, we're very limited. Fortunately, I have a good supply of Gizé paper still.
Nice.
I've never been a raw fan.
No,
never.
If anything, I'd probably use their cones more than anything.
Yeah.
And even their cones weren't the greatest, but I'm using zigzag cones now, and I like those.
We got a question from a loyal listener, Alexis. She would like to know anything you can do to prep your seeds, or do you just throw them in the dirt? Well, okay, so good question, because I sat there for about 2 hours going through my seeds, trying to see if that whole volcano thing is true. So we'll see.
You'll know in a month and a half, won't you?
Yeah, in about a month and a half. We'll see if that volcano trick actually works. What do you have to say about the volcano trick?
Myself?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by volcano?
Well, do you have a certain way?
It's an old hippie trick.
Like the pressure bomb? Like the pressure bomb type thing?
No.
The seed. It's an old hippie trick of sexing seeds.
Oh, that God, no. That's such a.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I have some friends that would die on that hill over that argument, but I mean, I don't know, if you've ran through enough seeds and you've paid attention to it, it just does not. It doesn't.
This is my.
When I've paid attention to it, I can get about a 90% success rate.
See, really, yeah. And see, I find as a disbeliever in it, and maybe it's just the idea of if you believe in something or you don't, because I don't. And I find
I was a disbeliever too, until I sat there one day with a microscope and I started looking.
Well, you see, and that's what I used. I used my digital microscope. I got right in there 1,000 times zoom, and it was crisp as a fucking day. I should have taken some pictures, but
I find the thing with seeds is population. So the more you run, the more you'll see, obviously, and I find obviously you'll be able to get a more.
We used to just put them in the fucking ground, and then they would pop up, and if you saw the fucking nuts, you ripped them out and you threw them in the fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's no real. I mean, the shortcut is nowadays. I mean, you get genetic testing like cotyledons. So, I mean, as soon as you have a cotyledon to pinch a piece of tissue off of, if you want to pay the money, I mean,
there's a sports update from Len right there.
Oh, there you go, Peterborough. Oh, what dumb or OHL.
Yeah,
I think it's OHL. Yeah, he's a big fan. One of his buddies or something plays for the somewhere Durham or.
We're Brandon Wheat Kings out here, so everyone's on Regina Pass and lots of.
I don't know nothing about no hockey.
I'm not either really, but I just
get that ball and kick it in my face. I don't know nothing about it.
But I find for a foolproof seeds germination, like I've tried over the years, obviously every method, and I've tried, love some things, don't like some things. But I find, and I work with a lot of old seeds too sometimes, so we have a lot of tricks for old seeds. But I mean, just for your run-of-the-mill seed, I do the paper towel method.
That's what I'm doing. I'm in the process of doing that now.
Yeah, I find it's the most. I mean, if you can understand the process and why you don't want to add too much moisture, if you can get that part
2
right,
days. 2 days,
yeah.
then it all popped. Yep.
And I find for me, like we let the seed shell come right off the actual seedling, and then that way you
I
don't.
didn't want to touch them, so I just put them in as is. They were about this long already, and some had no seeds, some have not. And I've only done not even half of them, so we'll see what
You know,
happens.
a lot of people have elongation issues, like where they plant a seed and then they plant too short, or they put it into soil too short, and you get it about you get these long. Obviously, it can be related to light and other stuff, but I find that if you let it just completely shed its seed, like you said, a couple of yours did, I find when you then transplant it to the soil, you can really control your future stretching of that seedling. Which there's nothing worse when you have a full cup and you have to transplant because you have these long, ridiculous long seedlings. But that's always been a foolproof method, and we just use really you get those delicate hobby tweezers that got rubber tips, and they're really good.
I just grabbed them very, very gently from the top. I didn't want to use tweezers or anything and damage anything, because this like I said, this is my third time I've done this, but this is full scale here, right? Like I did it at my farm. I put some seeds in a fucking pot and woo, I had all clones. This is my first time doing seeds, so
wow. Yeah, I guess like I said, it just you do so many. It's just like I too sometimes I remember like early on and just struggling with getting seeds started, and then like when we work with some old seeds, some seeds that are 20 years old, or seeds that weren't stored well. I mean, your germination rates, so mad.
A lot of people save their seeds. They get a bud, they got a seed in it, they save their seeds, and then they try and plant it, and you don't know what it is. But I have a whole crap load of seeds like that I have no idea what they are, that I've gotten from a bag. So eventually, once I get okay, probably not this year, I'm going to start growing those seeds, because I'll use those seeds for oil. It doesn't matter what strain they were, right?
I used to start projects and then always take 10 random seeds out of the bag seed jar that I had, because it was from a decade of collecting seeds.
Yeah.
And so I would take 10 random seeds out, and I would start my bag seed starts with my projects. And I'm telling you, some of my favorite hunts came, and favorite phenos come from those random bag seeds. It's I don't know. I love starting my bag seeds, or seeds I've collected over the years that I don't know where they're from or what they are. I remember it was good dope, and you're like, hey, we'll label it good dope, or it was this, it was.
And if you don't like it, you stick it in the oil bag, or you make hash out of it, or whatever, right?
Work food, whatever.
Dog food, jeez.
Yeah, dog food, whatever.
So
go ahead.
I was just filling the gap.
Yeah, blueberry seeds, is it like old blueberry work, or is it just modern blueberry work? Old meaning 90s?
I have no idea. I got a bag of blueberry. There were seeds in it, so I kept them.
And good blueberry? Had the really nice smell?
Really nice, yeah. Like, I mean, it was a nice bud, nice smell. I like blueberry, especially when it tastes like blueberry.
Exactly. And this is years ago or recent?
10 years ago.
Okay, so that could be really awesome blueberry.
I still have, and like I said, I still have a bunch that I cracked, and they've cracked, so they'll be going in cups tomorrow.
Because blueberry, like I said, blueberry,
it's very resilient. I've heard blueberry.
I mean, it depends whose, right? DJ's is,
I guess,
notoriously a mutation.
I have no, to be honest, I have no idea whose genetics these are, and even if for sure they're blueberry. So
exactly. I mean, there was a few people making blueberry
cross growing right now that had some mutations.
Nice.
Is that the one that had the mutations, Dale, that you were showing us?
That was a blueberry.
It was, eh?
Yeah, these are across from DJ Short's blueberry from back in the 80s.
Yeah, DJ is the godfather of blueberry, and we all kind of associate him with blueberry, and he's done some great blueberry work. But pretty much after a certain period in time, a lot of his blueberry work just had a lot of mutations to it, and it kind of lost its blueberry smell that it had early on, and kind of took on more of like a port wine kind of fermented berry smell, where it used to have a really sharp blueberry smell. So yeah, but I mean, if you could get your hands on the early DJ work, you're pretty lucky. But like I said, since then, because it's such a favorite strain, a lot of people have done work with it, and there's a lot of great blueberry options out there. Like I said, it's my favorite, one of my favorite lines, and we've done so much work with it, and I love that line. And my favorite blueberry is Winnie the Blue.
One of my favorite strains is Northern Lights, which Dale has graciously sent me some number 2 and number 5, right, Dale?
Nice.
Yeah, and they were the first ones to crack, and they were the first ones that I put in the pods. So
nice. Yeah, I like
they're already starting. There's one already starting to go hello. So that's, I like watching that process.
I like the effects of NL, and I like some of those like notes you get off the real NL.
I have ADHD, really bad ADHD, and I find that the one strain that really helps me deal with that is Northern Lights.
Really, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I find too, I'm hyperactive, a very hyperactive person. So I always gravitate towards like sedation type pots. So Cushes and OTs, I love them.
For me, it's one of those ones that if you smoke 1 or 2, you can, go through the day. But if you smoke 3 or 4, you're going to go to night.
Exactly.
Like Death Bubba does that to me.
Yeah. And that would be like, to me, that is a perfect example of like my favorite kind of varieties. Like I like Purple Kush, Pink Kush, Master Kush, Chem Dog, any of the sours, and the
I like Chem Dog. I can't. As the guys know this, I stay away. I will push away White Widow. Anything White Widow, no. I call it angry weed. Yeah, it gets me into it. It gets me a little owly. Yeah.
Agitated or just zonked out?
No,
yeah.
Agitated.
Yeah, we find that strains with THCV or high THCV strains. So sometimes, I don't know what it is, but it's
we were smoking some, a bunch of us, and then we started arguing and squabbling with each other, and then we ran out, and the next day we were smoking Purple Kush or something like that, and we were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man." It was, that's how I found it. Al doesn't do so well with White Widow, so I don't. It's like gin. I don't use it.
Yeah, I haven't seen good White Widow in 13 years, maybe longer.
There's some strains that are crossed with White Widow that are fine, right? Yeah. But I find that I am enjoying the lower end percentage wise of the THC. I like, about 17, 15, around there, 18. I mean, you get the 24s and the 30s, and I'm like couch locked, and I don't like it.
I don't think there is really 30s, or very few of them. I know, but like it blows me away some of the COAs you see. It's ridiculous. It's comical.
Yeah.
So
Marcel, you're very quiet tonight. He must
just taking it all in, man.
He must have gotten his cappuccino.
Oh, hell yeah. and I'm watching the sunset. Got some cool pinks and oranges.
Sorry, what was that?
Well, you guys are almost like, 9 o'clock, eh?
It's 8 o'clock almost here. They're in Nova Scotia, so it's 9 o'clock over there.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And it's 3:30 over there where you are?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. My sister's in Alberta, so I don't know.
There's enough time change.
I know my sister's 2 hours behind me, so I don't call her after,
Well, that's like me texting friends, right? I mean, they're in BC, and I get up at 4, so I text in the morning and do a lot of my stuff in the mornings. And they're like just going to bed.
When Messenger first was starting getting really big, you used to get what the fuck are you doing messaging me at 4 o'clock in the morning? Well, you know what? You should there's a do not disturb.
Exactly. That's on you. That's on you. So, but what else do you like smoking? Like you like for ADHD? What do you find works for you? Because I find, like I said, all these Canadian classic Cushes, like I said, all these ones we're so blessed to have, like the purple and the pink and the master. They just do wonders. And I love some of the, like we have the Rogie OG up here, Lindsay OG up in your area from Liberty Farms. Those are all like those gassy, earthy Cushes that hit about a real 20%, 22, 23, but 20, more than likely 20.
I don't like being couch locked because it makes me feel depressed. And that's how I feel when I'm depressed, that heavy. But by the same token, I don't want to be too hyper because that's me generally.
Right.
And then it just gets worse. I also have a thinking issue. Don't stop.
Is that what they call it?
It's called a mood disorder if you want to be literal about it.
Yes,
But yeah, I mean, so some strains, I literally, you're like, whoa, shut the fuck up,
Do you find that certain strains, like I always find, like people always tell me about, oh, this strain makes me anxious. Like I don't get that because I think I just consume and have consumed so much. But you yourself, do you find that there's stuff that makes you on edge or anxious?
Yeah, well, White Widow is the one that gets me really anxious. A good rock star will get me humming, right?
And is that just because you're too, like you feel too...
I get a little too hyper. I'm like, whoa, okay. And that's when I take the mushrooms and it calms me down, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I also microdose with
nice. Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to do. I like doing it at bedtime so I don't feel the effects.
It's kicked my depression out the door. And I find around, but I mean, I did a whole shitload of 0.1 caps.
Mm-hmm.
And although I find I don't get as edgy with the ground up as I do just popping a cap in my mouth.
Gotcha.
I don't know why that is. Maybe Marcel knows. I don't know.
It shouldn't make a difference.
It does. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. So I find about the 4-hour mark, I get a little edgy, and that's enough. And I go off and do my own thing, kind of thing.
Right? I mean,
well, 4-hour mark is should be wearing off right around that mark.
Yeah. So maybe I'm just turning back into myself.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Yeah, I like a 0.3. I think 0.3 for me at bedtime, and then go to sleep right away, and then wake up feeling pretty awesome.
Double what I do. Yeah.
But I only do it, like I said, I wouldn't like to do that during the daytime because I would get some effects. And every once in a while, you do wake up on a 0.3, and you're like, ugh.
If I start feeling even a little depressed, which happens, I'll pop one in my mouth. If I'm having a hard time because I've got a strain that's fucking couch locking me, I'll have one to get off my fucking ass. If I'm having a hard time not being able to just kind of concentrate and stuff like that. And so where I was doing it once in a while, I started doing that 5-day reset thing. Now I just take them when I need them.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's months sometimes where I don't.
Yeah.
I read an article that said some people, the effects of psilocybin will last for years in some cases, where somebody doesn't have to re-dose themselves. Mm-hmm. Right. So,
I mean, it's a wonderful thing to experience. And it's so good to see now that it's finally getting some attention in therapy.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can post anything you want with pictures of fucking mushrooms on Facebook, but you still can't do weed.
Yeah, it's odd. It's a really odd thing. I'm just going to get my charger. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem. You were going to say something, Marcel?
The problem with psilocybin, though, is the industry will bastardize it the same as they did cannabis.
But, the good thing is that you can grow it on your own.
Mm-mm. No, you can't.
Sure you can, illegally.
Well, yeah. That's not a plus.
Well, eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to get mushrooms. But, let's just remind people they do grow in your yard.
Eventually, Paul will be able to grow pot, but it's still not right.
Yeah.
I mean, here the only way you can grow cannabis. I mean, I'm in medical for just right after legalization, after the raid.
Yep.
I mean, I said, I owe cannabis to save my life. Gardening and actually growing cannabis saved my life. And then, like I said, if it wasn't for edibles and the actual art of growing my own medicine that I ingest, I wouldn't be here. And
that's what I want to get to.
Totally right, man.
No solvents. I got a squisher behind me, Paul. I can use it anytime I want. I'm using extra virgin olive oil for FICO caps.
Nice.
And I have access to these guys, and they've been doing this stuff for years and years and years. So, it's nice to be able to put the business into what actually happens. And I don't mean business, I just mean learning how to do it.
Right? For sure. I mean, everyone needs a mentor, and that's why I said we're all here because of someone before us that passed on the knowledge, right? And like,
I'm having conversations with gentlemen like you every week, and this is my learning forum. This is how with ADHD, I don't read. I'll watch a movie, I'll watch something on YouTube, but this conversation thing is my learning, because even though 3 weeks from now, Marcel will ask me a question and I won't remember, but when we're putting it to practice, to work, it sticks, and that's nice. I'm in the process of building my grow room downstairs.
Well, like I said, I think a lot of people overlook the therapy that comes with growing your own cannabis. Like, if you haven't grown your own plant and consumed your very first joint or your bowl or bong or whatever you've done, or pressed your first gram, when you do your own for the very first time, you grow it, you were part of the whole process. There's nothing like it. Like, that is the greatest.
It gives you somebody to talk to.
I'm telling you, like, my garden replaced everything I was missing as a child into adolescence, into being a young adult, and then into my current state. I mean, it gave me something that I was missing, the whole therapy of growing.
I know people who will sit on a chair with their head in their tent and talk to their plants.
I mean, I live in my garden. I told you asked me if I travel. Like, I do not travel. Being a librarian too, you're connected to this ridiculous vegetative garden that, it's more important than any commercial flowering garden, because it's, in essence, it's the building blocks of your community, right? A lot of the varieties we hold and are lucky and really blessed to steward is because someone, a mentor or an elder, was able to pass it on and ask us to, preserve it for the community. Yeah. And so that's why it's such an honor to do it, but it is a very big commitment, because there's few librarians in the time I've been doing this that can really do it for long periods of time. And then by long periods of time, I mean like decades. A lot of people can say, well, I keep mother plants and I've had varieties I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. But I mean, when I have anywhere between 50 mothers up to, at times, to 160 that I have to maintain and keep, and some of them are so important, so historically relevant to our community, it's a real difficult job, and it really takes a lot out of the grower, because, like I said, a lot of the times you're not getting all the exciting flowering things that guys go through when they're flowering like large crops or even monocrops or large rooms. I mean, I'm spending my life in a vegetative garden with a little bit of a medical garden where I do seed work and produce my own meds. But the life of a librarian, it's really, really difficult. And so last couple of years, we've been trying to slowly phase our way out of it, just to reduce and get back to a point where we're just doing seed work and keeping a library of just my personal favorites. So we went from like 168 down to now 30. Well, now we sit on 30 mother plants, which are, of all the 15 to 18, 19 years I've been doing this, my very favorite plants that I've ever come across.
Are they saving cannabis seeds in the archives now?
Well, I think there's just enough people that have been doing it over the years that there's been enough people crossing over now into the legal world where you're seeing a lot of like labs have opened up, like cryo and stuff like that.
No, I mean, like in Canada, there's a national seed bank. In the US, there's a national seed bank. There's a seed bank that's in the Arctic or something like that with a safe.
So personally, that's archiving. I wouldn't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I've always wondered if they would include. Do you know, Marcel, if they've included cannabis in with those seeds?
I'm gonna go ask them.
Okay, Marcel will Google.
Perfect.
Yep.
And I would say if they have the variety, like the amount of variety would if anything, I would imagine they'd be like, we have an NLD and a BLD, and that's. I
watched a documentary on seeds, and there's a seed bank that's buried in the tundra or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Svalbard Global Seed Bank. They've basically got seeds from every plant around the world.
So do they have cannabis?
That's what I'm going to ask.
Okay.
I would imagine they would, but not to a variety that we would see in your usual collector's catalog, probably. Like
Why
probably,
not? They're a seed bank. They're a seed bank.
well,
They have
they would
one.
probably have some Afghani, some like, you know,
The pot.
landrace Afghan, stuff like that. But I wouldn't
I'm
imagine.
honestly thinking they would have landrace strains.
I was
Yeah,
going to say that.
I don't think we'd see any cookies in there or ice cream.
Okay, so
Lemon
here
cake.
you go. The vault has a particular focus on food crops, so 69% of the seeds are grains, rice the biggest at 85 million, and 9% legumes. The rest of this roughly 6 ounces species are a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and other plants, including hallucinogenic plants such as cannabis and opium,
Yeah.
though no GMOs.
So yeah, probably like a few landrace or something.
Well,
that
yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad they don't have any GMOs.
Yeah.
But I mean, in
Well,
our own community, we have to look to our own community. We have guys like Dave Watson, and like Dave Watson has probably one of the largest seed catalogs of any citizen. And there's a lot of people that, you know, obviously we owe our community to, because they've been collecting and, you know, archiving seeds for 50, 60 years.
Who did we have on the other day, guys?
Charles.
Reefer Man.
Yeah, Reefer Man.
He's my
And
mentor.
in the middle of the month, we are. Have we got a date for Todd? We have Todd McCormick coming on.
Right on.
12th, maybe. Is that a Friday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let me look here. What May 12th is a Friday. Yeah,
12th.
Okay.
Charles is a real Canadian legend. Like he's and I mean, he's really, really special in the sense that, you know, we can talk to almost any breeder, and they will always say it's numbers. It's a number game. You got to do numbers. You got to run numbers, and but no one's really running those kinds of numbers that they talk about. Charles is in fact running numbers. Like he's running 1,000 phenohunt type hunts, and is doing just some really incredible work out there with some really incredible genetics. So I've been a huge fan of his. He's a mentor of mine. He's taught me so much, and is just a good friend. So it was really cool to see him on, because there's a lot of colorful histories in our community. A lot of these elders have some really interesting pasts and colorful histories, and a lot of times it prevents them from getting on some of the newer platforms where a lot of the breeders are getting on and really able to share their work and share their vision. And so, you know, a lot of times I think he gets overlooked because he has a colorful past, but there's no denying that Charles is a huge component to Canadian cannabis and just international cannabis history, just from what he's done and what he's kind of brought to our community. So
he was one of my first designated growers back in the MMAR.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've been running his stuff for years. I've been a tester for him for years. He's, like I said, I've ran so many seeds that I always come back to Charles's work, because it's so good. And a lot of the stuff that we've hunted, kept, shared, and even furthered along has been from Charles's work. So it's an honor. And I was so happy to see that he got on. So really kudos to you guys.
Well, we'll be getting him on again, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then having Todd on too. I mean, Todd's pretty awesome too. You know,
I'm looking forward to chatting with Todd, because I'm growing some of his skunk.
Oh, the skunk one, the work,
that's correct, Dale.
Preservation.
Yeah,
the skunk one preservation. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, because I like that strain, and
that's his Northern Lights #2 as well.
I was going to say, is that
awesome?
That's where the NL comes from. Because I was going to ask, but I thought, like, because to me there's only 3 or 4 sources for NL, but I didn't even think that it would be from Todd. But Todd, I mean, he's got some really nice NL right now, so that's awesome.
I think, it's nice to be able to grow something that I've had somebody, you know, as a guest, because then you know they get an actual idea.
And I mean, Northern Lights is one of those strains where you're going to get, I mean, if you're not getting it from like 4 sources, you're getting something that's completely not.
Well, I don't know if I have ever tried an actual Northern Lights. I mean, I've gone into dispensaries and ordered it. I've ordered it online, but you know, unless you get it directly from the breeder, you don't know, right?
But you've been around, like you said, you've been around for some time. So I mean, 20 years ago, 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
but you know what? This is only my third year growing.
Oh, well, I mean, even consuming, you may have, obviously in Ontario too, there was probably some good NL being grown out there back in the day outdoor.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
yeah, I'm sure I've had a lot of it over the years because that's one that if it's available, I will grab.
Yeah.
Like that's a strain that I don't even care how much it is. Give me some, please.
Sure. Yeah. It is. It's one of those strains that, like I said, it lives up to its history.
What kind of strains do you like yourself?
Like I said, I mean, I'm really on the gassy, earthy kind of Kush spectrum. So my favorite plants are always going to be anything from the Chem family. Specifically, my favorite plant of all time is the Chem Dog 91 or the SKBA 91, which is a really I don't know, a really strong cultivar.
I like the Mac one.
Yeah.
And I even asked the guys there where I can get seeds but the price is just astronomical. I mean, it's actually cheaper to buy it.
Yeah, it's Capulator's work, but like, I mean, he only put out a short run of the Mac, and then there's a V2 now with a version 2 and some other stuff.
Is the Miracle Alien Cookie, is that Mac 1 as well?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I know that.
You know, Dale?
No, I don't know, bud.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it is because I think the Mac is made up from something differently, but I could be wrong. But I know the clone
makes sense. I mean, Mac, Miracle Alien Cookie.
Oh, for sure. But I know there was a clone, like the actual clone floated around. It's been around, held by some friends here, and it's a really nice like clone, nice thing to smoke. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of anything that's really come out recently in the last few years. So like I said, I really favor those old Canadian classics and anything from like the Cali scene, the Ochi Kushes, any of those like the Tahoe or the 92 or the San Fernando.
Well, let me ask you a question. What? Okay,
Mac 1 is Miracle Alien Cookies.
Okay.
All right. Some like I'm looking at a CBD something. You got a recommendation? I for pain, for being able to go out and about the day, that kind of thing.
I mean, I'm not a CBD guy. I mean, I've ran CBD.
Neither am I. That's why I'm just, I'm experimenting.
I mean, Cannatonic is the CBD clone, but I mean, if you can ever get your hands on Cannatonic, you're going to be doing okay.
Why are you laughing, Marcel?
Because I deal with a lot of CBD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I know that.
And I'm not it's CBD. It's not something I use for myself because I like strains the opposite spectrum as Paul.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the reason I'm asking
the fruity sativa strains.
You hear CBD, CBD, and have some CBD.
We'll have some CBD infused pillows.
The only thing that CBD does for me is make me angry because it's just a straight.
But it's not, because CBD is also helping with inflammation and everything else.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's got its medicinal benefits, but
it's not a strain you want to sit there and just puff away all day with.
No, it's not for smoking. It's for eating.
Yes.
I mean, smoking CBD would be like smoking distillate, pretty fucking useless, right? But what we found is medicinally CBD works best with THC, THC works best with CBD, but at around a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, there's definitely a synergist effect for sure.
Right? So three times as much THC as CBD gives you a better medicinal effect or outcome than 1-to-1, 1-to-4, whatever way they want to flog it off. But then it's back to the same thing. Is it the THC and the CBD together, or is it all of the other cannabinoids that are making you healthy? But we also have Darcy back, and we don't know how long we have Darcy back, so we should let Darcy do his grow segment real
Yes,
quick.
go ahead. Let me run the thing. We'll be back in a minute or two, and Darcy will have some grow stuff. We'll be right back.
Hey,
I
this
will.
is Cheech. And this is Chong. And you're listening to Lifestyle Radio. What is it? Lifestyle Radio. Say it one more time. 420 Radio? Woo!
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Are you an independent musician? How would you like to have your songs played on hundreds of radio stations just like the one you're listening to right now? Join MusicSubmit.com and we'll promote your music to radio stations and blogs in your genre. It's free to set up your account, and we guarantee your music will be considered for airplay by radio stations worldwide. Why not sign up today? It's free. MusicSubmit.com. Radio promotion for indie musicians.
This is how we grow the weed.
Darcy, are you there?
Yeah, I muted his mic.
All right, we're back.
He's
We're
probably talking. He's probably talking though.
From Scallywag Seed Company. Before we find Darcy, just give yourselves a quick plug. We'll get to it later again, but so people can find you if they want to look your stuff up while we're chatting.
Wait, he might not want anybody to look him up.
Oh, that's fine. Like I said, when I was in the nurse, no, but now it's a few years post nursing. But no, I keep to myself. But you can always find me on just Instagram, Facebook, Instagram under Scallywag Seed Co. But be careful. There's been some recent scam accounts that have been kind of popping up where they're emailing people.
You don't have a website for the seed company?
No, I never have, never will. You deal directly with me all the time, and that's always been the way. So if I always say DM me, follow me on Instagram. Like I said, it's never been like I've never done this as a way to have a living. This has just been something that I've enjoyed sharing with people, and that's been the entire journey this whole time. Is just sharing my love for what I do with just other people. So I never wanted to have a commerce site or any type of that. So it's just like any run of the mill. You find me on Instagram, Scallywag Seed Co. We also have Facebook under my name, Paul Martin. You can find me there. You'll always see the logo, so it's a good way to see that it's me. But like I said, DM, and you'll see my page has lots of grow pictures. If you're only seeing a few posts or no posts, it's not me. So just always clarify by just DM and checking in.
Yeah, there's so
beautiful pictures on your Instagram too, man.
Oh, thanks so much, man. Like I said, I just live for this plant. I live in the garden, so.
Go, Darcy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fuck, good. This fucking stupid computer.
Fuck.
Anyways, I just wanted first off, I want to say thanks, Paul, for coming on. I'm following some of your stuff here too, so thanks again for coming on.
Honor's all mine.
And Al, I just wanted my grow segment tonight was to help you out a little bit with the situation you're having. I was reading some of the posts back from this week, and I see that you want to learn how to harden off your plants.
I'm having a hard. I'm trying to hard what?
Yeah, you get.
Wow, there's a.
I can help you with your plants.
Okay, so go ahead.
So hardening your plants. You just can't take your plants from indoor and just doors because of them. So you want to harden them off. A lot of guerrilla growing in the woods. When I plant my clone, make like a little fence.
I think that Max Ketchum has dropped in.
Darcy.
What?
Darcy. We've got a really bad lag with you.
Hello.
And we're getting about every second word.
Fuck. Just give me 1 second.
We got that word.
Yeah.
Try to. I don't understand.
I. Come back on your phone. That worked.
Okay. We'll
So
talk to Darcy when he comes back in a minute.
But he's talking about hardening plants.
Which is what I'm doing now, correct?
No, what you're
No.
doing now is you're starting your plants.
Okay.
Hardening is the process of taking them from the indoor environment to the
Oh, yes. We
outdoor
were talking
environment
about that the other day or earlier or whatever it was.
without giving them a big shock. Right?
Yeah, because I asked what temperature should I be waiting for in my greenhouse? Like it's right now it's I think 8 degrees with 59% humidity.
Okay.
Right.
But you want your overnight temperatures
to be over 11.
Well, double digits for at least a week.
Okay.
Right. So overnight is one night it drops down to 4 degrees. Start over again and go another week.
Okay.
Until it's a full week of double digit nights.
Which is why I have a grow room that I'm building.
But in the meantime, during that period, you can harden your plants by taking them out of your little grow dome, whatever you've got them in, and put them outside in a bright, sunny spot for
and
a
then
few
bring
hours
them in at night.
a day. Yeah. Well, no, you only start them off a few hours a day.
So I could put them in the greenhouse during the day because it is quite warm in there during the day.
Perfect spot, but then
bring them back in and put them underneath the little lamp thingy, or put them downstairs under a light or whatever, and keep them warm. Okay,
right, yeah, and do that basically for the week.
All right. Well, it's gonna, okay. So how long will it take for these little guys, which are just poking up now out of the puck, some of them, and how long will it take to get up to the height of the dome? Depends on the strain, I guess, eh?
They're just in the pucks right now, or if you transplant them into solo cups or anything?
Nope, they're in shot glasses, solo cup shot glasses with the puck.
So you basically cut off. Oh, you bought solo cup shot glasses?
Yeah, and they fit perfectly.
And you drilled holes in them?
I put holes in the bottom, yes. And then those will go into the red Dixie cups, which are bigger, which will go under the light and outside until I put them in the auto pot. Because I'm going to put one of the sets of auto pots I'm going to put in the garage, in the greenhouse.
I'd say at least 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Really? So in 6 weeks, they may just be ready to go out, is what I was getting at earlier by that conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd say minimum 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is still. I mean, it's right now.
It could be a bit more than 6 weeks before you get double-digit nighttime temperatures too.
These are just till they get big enough in your dome. You were saying it's about 6 weeks.
Yeah. But you can always take the cover off your dome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and it is sitting in the window, so I mean, it will get sunlight.
Yeah,
and I also have my other.
No, you can hang your light above the plants without the dome.
Yeah, I'll take it downstairs and do that if I get to that point. Yeah. I got everything just sitting upstairs in the living room still.
But your dome has a light on it, right?
Sure does. It has a Sunblaster 5-watt.
So it slides off?
No, it just sits on top.
So you can hang that above your plants without the dome.
Oh, yes, I could. Sure could.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Okay.
And I slowly get them under HIDs or LEDs or CMHs as soon as I can.
I have an LED light that I'm going to try and see what it does. I also have a bloom light as well that we haven't even put up yet. We're not at that point. Still got to put the blower in and all that stuff. Right. That's a summer project while everything's out in the garden.
I have a few, a couple of those lights that I use on my dome, but then I also have one that is hanging above houseplants. So our house plants are always
that's what they were
nice.
developed for.
Well, it works good for it.
Yeah, it's good supplemental lighting for sure.
What I did was I bought one of those $69 Chinese ones that's 1200 watts and full VED, like full spectrum. That's what it says. But knowing that, yeah, right, it will be a good veg light, and that's what I was going for, right?
Mm-hmm.
For starters, and
Right.
then I got a 650 for the flower room. So, we're starting slow.
It's a process. You always are like changing, evolving. You're always, adjusting.
Well, I figure, I'm when I'm not spending so much a month on buying weed, I'll spend it on lights, or I'll spend it on seeds, or like it's like when I quit smoking cigarettes, I spent that money on weed.
There you go.
So
Are you doing a tent or you got a room indoors?
I have a wrapped room downstairs in the basement.
It's so much better. Tents are great, but a room is good.
I've split it into 2 rooms. I do have a tent as well, but I might just put a mother in it. I don't know. And then I've got a 6x10 greenhouse that I got off Wayfair that made it through the winter, and I'm looking forward to going in there. And I still gotta put some stones in there and put the black stuff so the weeds don't come up and blah 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 blah. But it's it's still winter here.
Well, it's here too, Winnipeg. I mean, we just got rid of our snow finally. So
we just got another 12 centimeters.
Yeah.
Like
you're north. Yeah, you're north. Because even Winnipeg's got grass, man. So you're north.
It was sunny today on and off. And it's been raining, where we've got rain in the forecast till Thursday, I think. But there's one day that there's supposed to be snow, but I think that it'll be done by now.
Oh, I hope for you, brother.
I hope so.
Last winter was long. This winter felt long, but last winter was horrible here too. So.
Well, I got here in July last year, so when I moved up here, and the summer was just starting.
That's crazy. That's absurd.
The listing pictures of the house had buds on them.
That's crazy.
And some of them had nothing. And when I got here, the buds were just opening. The mushrooms were just popping up. The strawberries were up. The wild raspberries were up. So we'll see. It's been very cloudy the last couple of days, unfortunately.
Oh, you got a couple days of rain, then it's going to snow rain mix on Monday for you.
Yep.
Then snow Tuesday.
Here we grow again.
Yeah.
And this is why I got a greenhouse.
And your high temperature for the week is only going to be like 2 or 3.
I know.
And your lows at night are going to be into the minuses.
But that will change quickly after a bit.
Yeah. Do you know what though?
It's not even that cold here right now.
Paul might be further north than you.
There's well, I mean we're southern Manitoba. I mean, so
Yeah, but
North is about 6 hours from here. Like Gillum and places like that.
My sister is in Clive, Alberta, and she's lower than I am.
Right.
So I don't know if that
rare
helps.
occasion here. I think I'm the southerner, which is rare for a Winnipeg. Very rare. So yeah, but I think we're a little more south than you. So
the Canadian version of Florida.
In your climate, I mean, like, do you guys support or buy autoflowers?
I have not, but I'm going to. What I'm going to do is order some autoflowers off of OCS just to see what happens. Marcel is trying a critical orange. Is that right?
Yeah.
Marcel? That's from OCS. How is that going?
Mine's not from OCS, but it's Dutch Passion is what it is.
It's the same grower, same
Just
breeder.
Under the
Dutch Passion is the breeder, but they're selling through the legal market.
Yeah.
Critical
with
Orange
Jason.
Punch. And
Jason.
it seems to be doing fine. I just cut a bunch of clones off it.
Nice.
So we'll see if they root up.
How
We have
long?
a-
How long
sorry.
does it take before you can start snipping clones
On an autoflower?
on anything?
Oh, autoflowers you
On
can't
an
grow.
hour flower, don't waste your time.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking about an autoflower, but
Normally, what I do is, as soon as I get 4 sets of leaves, I cut off the top.
Okay.
Exactly.
I root the top. So this way, if I've got to sex them, I'll root all the tops of all the plants, grow them up 4 sets of leaves, and then force them to flower.
And how long will it be before I can start looking for nuts? It depends on the strain, I know, but
depends on the strain. Usually 6 weeks. But if you take your tops and you force them to flower, you'll know as soon as they start to flower.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Right, but they've got to be rooted and established and grow 4 new sets of leaves.
Little tricks.
Well, they'll do that real nicely downstairs under the lights.
Perfectly. But as soon as you cut the top off the plant, it's going to grow 4 new tops.
So what's the average growth spurt? How much will it jump up from that? Because I know once you stress the plant, it starts to grow, right?
But it'll depend on lots, lighting, environment, genetics,
the strain. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of factors to that. But you can look at a rule of 4, so that every time you cut a top, you get 4 new branches to come up. If you cut the tops off of those, now you've got 16. And eventually you'll have a shit ton of them. But then you can also take in a lot of the undergrowth, cut clones off of the undergrowth, depending on how big they get.
Really? Okay. I didn't see. This will be the first time that I do any clipping at all.
Well, I mean, it could be a branch growing in there that is going to be useless for that plant itself, but it would make a perfect little clone.
So what we do, we run large phenos like hunts. So what we tend to do, because we have clones so much, is we just top as soon as we get a decent sized plant, like probably about 4 inches, just top it. And then, like you were saying, all your axial branches and your lower branches, they'll all branch out. And then you can get clones off there easy on. Early on. And then you can, like I said, you can either, root those, flip those and see what you got, or hold those, flip the mums, see what you got, either or. But that speeds it up a little bit, the topping, and then not cleaning up your bottom, because you can take clones off the bottoms just to continue the generation. And then that way it's just a little bit of a quicker process.
So, so next question. How long will it be before I can sex them? I know again, it depends on the strain. I realize that, but generally,
you could like start flipping 12 and 12 right now. Like as soon as you get like a decent about 2 weeks of your sprout, you can start by just like already starting to do photoperiod changes. But then you have a little bit of delay because you're going to revert it back and it can stress it a little bit. So the best way, if you want to do quick sexing, is what your buddy just said. It's the fastest way. Do the topping, root that, get that going. But while you root that, you could also flip the other one and see what that is. And then
that's the best way to kind of kickstart them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a quick way to sex. I mean, but honestly, fasting sexing.
What happens, Dale? What happens when you end up having your plants revert?
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it can be a real pain. So that's why the other method works better.
Especially if they're in the flower.
Oh yeah.
It started flowering in the damn spring. I had to revert it back again.
Yeah, it sucks.
How do you do that? You just leave the lights on all the time?
I put it out too early. Yeah, I had to jack the lights back up on them.
He put it out before we were having more than 12 hours of daylight.
Oh, wow.
And it forced his plants to start to flower. And then all of a sudden, we hit that summer solstice. The light changes, and his plants go back into veg. But meanwhile, they've got buds.
Yeah.
So all the leaves go from the nice 5, 7, 11 finger leaves down to 1 finger leaves. The plant looks like shit. The buds all shrivel up and crap out.
Yeah.
And then about 3 weeks later, Dale, all the leaves start coming back out with fingers.
Yeah, something like that. It's a pain in the ass.
It happens to a lot of outdoor growers. You get excited, you put your plants out, and then next thing you know, you didn't follow the timeline. It happens.
Yes.
We always recommend autos, like for new outdoor growers, like just for the first few times, just to kind of grasp because I mean, it's hard to go wrong with an auto, and then you usually get good results, which usually brings the grower back to want to try photo period stuff, and then usually go from there. But I mean, autos have their place. I love autos for outdoor and just for bed space that you have sitting open space and kind of crop out in your bedroom as well. Which is
I'm
nice.
the same way. I like to see everybody's first crop be autoflowers.
Exactly. It
So
just
they
kind
can
of
get
helps.
an idea of what they're getting into with something that is forgiving.
But you know what, Marcel? Okay, like you even said that to me when after Dale sent me these seeds, you were like, what, you're going to learn how to sex? And I was like, yes, because I want to learn how to do that because I know I can just take some autoflowers and stick them in the fucking ground and feed them.
But this is the time. There's so many resources to help people grow nowadays. Like this is the time to just jump in. If you're going to jump in, jump in. This is the time. When we were doing it early on, I mean, man, you had so much at stake. You couldn't risk, you couldn't waste time. So this is the time. Jump in, experiment, have fun. There's a million places to get seeds. This is the time.
You can even get them from the legal entity.
Totally. And before I forget, we were talking about autos. If you're going to, invest in some autos, we have a great Canadian source here, and that's Next Generation Seeds. Jason, he's been already putting autos into the legal community, but he's also has distributors in Spain, so in legal spots. But go check out Next Generation Seeds. Jason's the real deal. He really puts time and effort into his autos.
Maybe we can talk about that off air.
He's great.
Oh,
great.
I'm looking it up now.
Of course you are. No, I meant just because I absorb it a little easier. Right. I got a lot going on in front of my face here.
Yeah, Jason's been a big breeder in Canada for years, like for decades. So he's a really good source for really good, stable genetics that, he tells you what you're going to get that. So,
well, once upon a time, there was no stable and people were doing just fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was just, you do it and if it works or it doesn't. But now we've gotten a little bit scientific and we have some other toys to play with and people are, it's becoming easier. It's a little more intensive than growing tomatoes, but by the same token, if you're good at growing tomatoes, you should be able to grow good wheat, right?
It's just dedication.
I'm guessing from the strain names he's in BC.
Who's that?
Your next generation seeds guy.
Yeah, sure. He's a transplant prairie boy that ended up like most of us head west, and he made us like the.
Why is that? Are they a little bit more lenient with you guys out there? Are they allowing it there in BC? Because there's some businesses. I mean, what the site that I order from, which I don't mind their quality. They're in BC, and I don't get how you've got entities here in Ontario that are just the same out in BC, but it's illegal here, but it's going full force in BC. I don't get that. Is that just because of the BC laws?
Could still be illegal.
Yeah, fair enough. They're just being a little bit more lenient.
But BC,
it's a culture thing.
Yeah. BC, it's culture, but also they've got some really prime growing areas in BC, especially for the outdoor growing.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Manitoba would have prime growing areas, but the problem is Manitoba is pretty relatively flat, so it's easy to get around to find fucking plants. BC, you've got mountains. It's easy to hide plants in mountains, right? Just think of the Emerald Triangle. Things go missing in that mountains all the time. So yeah, his strains like Ogopogo, Little Wet Black.
I heard somebody talking about Ogopogo earlier today, and I don't remember who it was now.
Were they talking about the strain, or were they talking about the mythical beast?
Probably the mythical beast.
Yeah,
I remember swimming in Kelowna, just terrified as a kid. We used to go there every summer and just scared that get eaten by Ogopogo. I remember always.
I've been through there so many times, and I've been out on that water so many times, and I've not once ever seen Ogopogo.
No,
And I was looking for him.
I think it's just a sturgeon.
I think it was too.
Is that like the Canadian version of Loch Ness Monster kind of thing?
Yeah,
is it-
same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Canadian,
it is.
Canadian version. Just Canadian version.
Yeah, well, no, that would be the second Canadian version because the other one is in Lac Champlain
Okay.
in southern
Well,
Oregon.
I every now and then when there's a new episode, I watch that Finding Bigfoot show. There's on Discovery
When
or
it sucked
whatever.
into that Oak Island. That Oak
Oh,
Island
I don't mind Oak Island. I enjoy that.
We're in Nova Scotia. We laugh about that show.
Oh,
Yeah,
I bet you guys how stupid we are. We follow every week. Every week we
Follow every week to find something that's not even there.
a toothpick. Like,
I wanted to go there when I was there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Nobody wanted to take me.
all the prairie boys are just infatuated with Oak Island, like, oh, the treasure, but they never find anything. So.
What treasure?
Exactly,
it's just
right?
A really good show.
Exactly.
Okay, so now I'm interested with this because he's got grapefruit haze autoflower.
Yeah, Jason, like I said, he went out to BC and he was working with Federation Seeds, and I mean he was just a part of that real mecca of foundation of what cannabis became in Canada, what we were known for, and that was really, really good cannabis. And so he, like I said, he had the grapefruit cut, the Romulan. He was good friends with Romulan Joe, so he had the Romulan cut. And like I said, he's a real ethical breeder and just a stand-up Canadian breeder. He's one of our best for sure. And like I said, a real breeder. So
Wow.
yeah,
Even
check him out.
It says it's the most recommended seed for outdoor growers in Canada and other climates with shorter growing seasons worldwide.
And
Why don't you post it in the comments there, Marcel, so that our listeners.
Yeah,
he's the grapefruit haze.
Well, just the URL, like the site itself.
Great outdoor strains for you guys if you're doing outdoor. Great, like Ontario Jones.
Grapefruit hair. That would be a good one for here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100 days.
He's got Avalon and stuff like that. Really good stuff. Really good stuff.
What are the yields like on them? Do you know?
Right here. So this strain here is 100 days from germination to harvest, 19% THC, 0.3 to 0.9 for CBD, which is fine. 4 feet tall, 4 feet plus tall. So it's not a small autoflower. 200 to 300 grams per plant. So you could pull half a pound off of this plant.
That's not bad for an auto.
Awesome for an autoflower.
Do you remember Parkland? Parkland Flower? They're in Ontario, I think, or Alberta. They're a legal entity.
Don't
know them.
They were probably the first legal entity to bring seeds in, or one of the first few. They brought seeds in, and this would have been right with legalization. Like when they entered as a seed place versus flower to start. So they did seed, and from what I understand, like all their early seed releases, or a few of them, were from Next Generation. So he had an auto blueberry and auto Northern Lights, like really good stuff, and so he's kind of been around in both worlds, and he also operates in Spain and. But yeah, he's got websites. You can go check him out. He's legit.
Does he do clones? There's a couple of legal entities that ship clones as well.
I don't know if he does or not. I know that there's some offerings of clones sometimes. I just don't know what the speculate, like what's involved in that. I don't know, but I know there is some clones sometimes offered through him.
Yeah, no, we looked it up. I can't remember what company it is, but there's a licensed company that will ship clones.
Yeah, well, there's lots. Like we have like lots of places that you can get clones, legal and legacy. Like, I mean, Clonetics is another one. There's a huge one now, and Mother Labs, Clonetics. They're like big places that.
I being where I am, I'd like to find a company that will ship. Right.
I mean, as long as you have your. I mean, you can do recreational, so yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Just talk around, talk to someone there that's involved in one of the bigger.
Oh yeah, I'll find something.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, you could probably find clones in Ontario. So, I mean, I know Legacy, we ship, like people are still shipping clones. Like, I mean, we ship all year, like other than winter. I mean, we're always sharing genetics. So, and that's still predominantly the number one way to do it is through shipping. So courier or your regular shipping methods. Rooted, unrooted, whatever you want to like.
So we're down to the last 15 minutes, and again, I want to make sure that you've given anybody any information that you want to give them.
Yeah.
Where to find you again and all that.
Like I said, I tend to hide. I'm not someone like I'm around, but like I don't really.
He's around, but he's not saying sitting on your doorstep.
And I'm not like trying to push my work, so you'll never like the rare time. Like if I get a lot of requests, people are asking me, then I'll drop like a post where you can contact me, and we'll get you a list. But like generally, like I don't really push my work. So if you're looking for my work, you're gonna have to confine me, and that's kind of the way to do it. And I'm very personal, so don't like we will talk DMs, emails. That's how we'll do it. It's very personal. And that's just the way it's always been for me. It's just easier that way because I can manage everything that way. So yeah, on Instagram, Scallywag Seed Co. Hit me up. I try to get all my follows, and I'm pretty bad at it because we get a lot of requests sometimes. And then Facebook as well under my name, Paul Martin. And you'll always see my insignia, the Scallywag Seed Co. And if you're really bored for shits and giggles and you want to go check out some of the earlier stuff, you can go to IC Mag. You can just type in Golden Tree. We have one feed. It's pollen bombing episode 1. It's one of the main threads I had that pretty much documents work from 2013 all the way up to now. So if you ever want to see everything.
Cool.
Yeah, but to check that out.
Yeah, you will. Marcel just sent me the link there for the next gen.
Take a look at those autoflowers too, Al.
Okay, I will. Yeah,
because I think you might like those.
Thanks for joining us, Paul. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure. Like I said, I don't do a lot of these, and I don't like talking about myself. It's hard, and it was nice. I like having these kind of podcasts where we're not just strictly talking about cannabis and
not question and answer. I don't like question and answer.
I like just where we got to hang out. Like there's so many podcasts that we do that are just more fun than just educational. We were doing so much educational stuff as a nurse doing cannabis advocacy that there's just so much of it now that it doesn't need to be done anymore. Like I don't need to spew my feelings on the
Well, you know what? I tell you, there's a lot of people, a lot of legacy people in the community that will say bullshit to that because we're doing the first GMM here in a few years.
Right.
And the GMM, it's the one that started the big rallies here in Toronto.
Right.
And people come from all over Canada to go to it. And now the GMM is... What?
You're doing the GMM where?
Toronto, Queen's Park, May 6th.
They do it every year.
But it hasn't happened in a couple of years for COVID reasons, as well as Queen's Park has been under construction, the park itself. So they were not allowing anybody in there. But I think now all the fences are down, and then we'll see what happens this year.
You confused me when you said that you were having it there, and I was figuring you were having it in Terrace Bay. What, 3 of you are going to go out and march?
Yeah, we're going to go down to the beach, plunk some fucking seats down, and fucking smoke some joints. It's probably what I'm going to end up doing, to be honest with you.
But I'd like to say, my one concern going forward is about advocacy is there's one thing we all really need to pay some serious attention to right now. And that's one thing is that the medical program is going to be under attack if it's not already right now.
It's already under attack.
It's really going to face an attack coming here forward soon. So I think everyone needs to just kind of pay attention to that. And like I said, it's one of those things that's a little bit scary as medical growers because they're really going to come after our right to grow.
Well, I think the that Health Canada is actually hoping for. And there's been a lot of articles about this recently. They're hoping that people are starting who are medical are starting not even to renew their licenses.
Yeah.
And they're just going to the In-N-Out store. And even I've started doing that. Although I renewed my license so that I can grow. But I know a lot of legacy medical patients who are not even bothered submitting their stuff. They're just going to the legal store.
Exactly.
And that's what Health Canada is hoping for. Unfortunately, you don't get the medical support though.
Right. And that's how Quebec kind of...
You don't get medical support now.
No, but you used to when you went into a legacy dispensary, somebody was sitting there that's a patient and said, "What are you looking for?" I'll make a suggestion. Now the only thing that they can do is have a conversation. I tried this. This is what it did. There can't be any medical information given.
They're using easy access as their means to kill the medical program, and you have some degree to a point there.
I think they're hoping for it. Although I don't think at this point they can take it away from us, from the people who are legitimately in need of a medical supply. I don't think they can actually take that from us. But
they're going to try.
They're going to try. But for the people who have never gone and gotten their medical license that just want to use it medically, the market's open.
Yeah.
You've got the legacy market, you've got the indigenous market, and you've got the legal market.
But that's where we really push the therapy component to growing your own medicine, and that's what you cannot replace from going to the store. You have to be able to connect with you growing your own therapeutic medicine, and that's what.
It's not just that. It's if you're growing your own, then you're going to get a whole plant therapy and not a bunch of fucking distillate that's shipped
or
over
irradiated flour that's been irradiated and all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that there's some phenomenal stuff in the legal world, but I'm just saying for the medical patient, this program is going to come
medical. What is medical? Medical is what works for you.
Yeah,
that's medical.
And for me, it's growing my own at home.
Doesn't matter if it's a Bubba Kush or a White Widow. If it works for you medically or any other way, use it.
Exactly. And I just do not want to lose my right to grow my own medicine. That's it.
Well, you know what? I got to say, Paul, it's been genuine conversation, and I've enjoyed it because it's nice to see that the community in the breeder area is still very much alive. Because if we lose that community, we're stuck at the whim of the licensed community. And although we've been searching around on the OCS website the last few months, looking at strains and stuff like that they have available, and they have some nice strains available from the breeders that you would be buying from on the legacy market, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's nice that part of the community has gone from legacy to legal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but if you go to Dutch Passion, you can buy those same seeds cheaper.
Well,
right?
Can you really?
Yeah.
And they're allowed to sell them directly?
Why not?
Well,
They're a novelty item.
Yes.
But you know what? We've talked to lawyers before. You can't, like, the whole idea that you can call cannabis seeds novelty and get away with it in a court of law. It's insane.
Yeah.
You wouldn't win. If you really want to.
Mark it didn't work for Mark.
It doesn't work. It
didn't work for Mark.
It's one of those silly. Yeah, I know it didn't work for Mark, but I mean, Mark kind of like pissed off the DEA, right? I mean,
he already pissed in his cornflakes before he. Right, I'm sure.
But yeah, guys, right on. I really.
And if you do want to enter a cup, there is still the John Cook Cup.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we do. I don't enter cups, we sponsor. So if anyone needs sponsorship, let me know. We love sponsoring cups. We've done so many over the years.
Marcel.
It's a nice way to, it's a nice way to give back.
Stay on after the show ends. We'll have a chat.
Well, we did one out east. I forget what it was, but we did 3 years in a row, 4 years maybe. But there's a big cup in the East Coast we love supporting. I can't remember the name. I feel like an ass. Sorry, April.
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
Maybe it is John Cook.
No, you know what? Maybe it was. I have to look. We got.
Is it the Memorial Cup?
Yes, that's the one. The Mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you can sponsor it again this year.
See how brain that I am? I couldn't even remember. I'm so mad I couldn't remember Mac. Like, I know all these cultivars, and I'm like fucking sitting there going like, how do you not fucking know his Miguel Galley cooking? It's like, it's so stupid. But yeah, no, I'll support again for sure. So
yeah. All right.
So
come down for it too.
We've got 6 minutes left. Anybody got anything else they want to throw out there to people?
I want to thank Paul for coming on tonight, man. Appreciate that.
Oh, so do I, man. Thanks so much for having me, brother.
It's been good.
Fun.
On the 12th, we have Todd McCormick on the show, who is yet another breeder who has been around for a long time.
No, he's a breeder. I'm just a hobbyist. That guy's a breeder. Like him and Charles and Jason. Like, I'm a hobbyist, man. I just love what I do. I love.
One day you'll get up there.
Yeah, one day maybe, but you know,
Do you
these are
want
just
to be?
these
Do you
are all
want to be a
meant to.
breeder?
I just want to be a grower.
Do you want to be a breeder? Be a breeder.
There you go.
Do you
Do
want to
whatever you
be a
want.
pollen? Do you really want to be a pollen chucker?
Be the seed.
Yeah, like I said, just let whatever you want to do just direct you in what you do for seeds. You follow your heart, follow what you like to do, and like I said, the results have been phenomenal. The support's been phenomenal. Like I don't even like to pay attention to it because it just makes me uncomfortable that people love what I love or like love what I share. It's like I said, every day to get people sharing you posts of what they're growing from you or have kind words to say about what they found or show you a picture or just said, hey, this helps someone. That
It's
is my
nice not
reward.
to be called an asshole all the time.
Well, I don't get called that often, but I do because I can be one. But I mean, for the most part, it's just been such an honor. And that's why I said this is the greatest community to be a part of. So I just, thank you to everyone. So
I
So I
think
have one last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you're in Manitoba, you really can't do it, but would you prefer to grow indoor or outdoor?
I grow, like I have a garden. Like I run 100 or like just under 100 plants a little bit. And I was more a little, yeah, like
Can you grow medically there?
I have my medical. So
you can grow medically
Oh
there.
yeah.
Okay.
So what do you prefer, indoor or outdoor?
I mean, the best cannabis on the earth is sun grown, obviously.
Yep.
The best grown, sun grown. Sun-grown, organic, probiotic, well looked after, good genetics. That's the best on the best. That's the best of the best. And then indoor, I mean, you can only do what you can do indoors. You're recreating an environment, but you can get really good indoor. But if it was my choice, I'd be growing in BC with a couple of my friends who have outdoor greenhouses that are all organic, like real organics. They do all their own amendments. That's what I'd be doing. But I can't, so I love my indoor. And we have so much winter here that it's a great way to spend, your 8 months out of the year in your grow room.
You know what? I'm heading outside now, meaning that's the direction I'm going. But I'm looking forward to when my room is set up because I've never had a grow room before. I've never had everything that I need to have in there to make it work right.
It's magical.
I might even I might. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I know how to do outside. The guys have made sure of that.
You'll be obsessed. You will literally be obsessed. It takes on this complete obsession. It is just, I mean, it's like having a lab in the basement and you're a scientist of whatever.
Well, I hope
so.
You
just
I
get
got
to go
it.
right downstairs.
It becomes your whole life.
Everything.
Well, it's consuming.
Yeah.
Eventually,
I'll do the show from down there.
there you go, live from the garden.
Yeah.
And you'll eventually find out that it's a lot of work.
Funny. Oh, I already know that, Marcel. Funny story, and then we've got to go. Ed Fortune, NJ Weedman. He, the first time he came on the show, he did it from the garden. He took his laptop and he went to do the show in the garden, and he put down. Do you remember this, Marcel? He put the laptop down in a puddle, and right in front of him on the air it went. He had to run into the other room, hook up the desktop, and come back on the show. And now look where he's at now. That's a whole other conversation. But all right, Paul, thank you very much. We've been chatting with Paul Martin from Scallywag Seed Company. I'm Al. We're here with Marcel and Darcy and Dale, and Lennie is watching hockey tonight. I don't know where Marijane is, and we will see you next week with I don't know. I know on the 12th we have Todd, and that's all I know at this point. Right? Okay, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this lifestyle radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.